Alrighty. Gecko Isle, and this is going to be a very quick, terse, and possibly comical mentor review of this 1v1 replay. Speaking here, you have the delight, if not honor, of having a cow Adonis while he is somewhat delirious from, or in the recovery mode from a relatively serious cold and flu. So forgive me for any humorous voice intonation or tones or volume or anything else that you may or may not hear during this review. I'll try and keep it as short as possible to ensure that I do not lose consciousness. Let no one say that I never did anything for the people. No, but seriously, yeah, 1v1, quick review for Code of Conduct. I will try and keep it terse. Now, I know you said don't focus on the map things, but it's a very fine line between what is part of the map and what is part of the game. So you're going to get some of the map things anyway, and obviously one of the first ones on this lovely isle, if you haven't seen it before. Just for those who aren't aware, Apollosis has started down in the mirrored corner. For those who haven't played it before, there is a very strong tidal speed on this map, which means that most players who have played this map significantly will start with a pattern a bit differently from this. Just for the record, I've done this opening pattern several times, so I don't want to say it's bad, it's just that most players have actually opted, I think, long term for this one to start with the commander on the other side of the mexes. Capture the mexes. Whether you want to go for wind or not on this map is debatable, but the tidal speed of 25 means that you can get out significant build power, or it's build power efficient and relatively energy efficient to go for tidal generators rather than basic solars for energy stability. Now, arguably, it's more efficient to go for the basic tidals at the beginning than it is even for the wind. Not because wind isn't... well, actually, good question whether it's technically more efficient or not. Let's say that our wind speed is 12. I'm really not in a mental state to be doing math, but 37, let's do it by 2 and a bit. Yeah, sort of. It's getting very comparable. I think wind might win out on the margins, but with that you get a bit of risk, a bit of overflow, and the build power of these things is 1600 for one of them, whereas the build power for titles is 2190 for one of them, but it generates more energy in total, and it's not double the build power of the wind. So 1600 to, where are we here? 2190. You can pump your metal into the tidal generators faster than you can build the energy equivalent producing of these things, and get that metal down and being used earlier. So that's generally what the theory says anyway, and that's why people tend to start with the commander hugging and or moving towards the coast so that they can start with a kind of tidal generator based build to start getting that energy up and flowing, because the energy, okay, you've got two resources and they're both sort of constrained. Metal is your typical constraint, but in these early stages it's actually pretty easy to churn through your metal. It's good to get the especially the 2.5 versus the 1.7 metal extractors up first, but your other constraint in early start, and which constrains how fast you can expand, will be energy, and by going tidal, you get the benefit of pumping up that energy nice and fast, nice and quick. Cool. Anyway, yeah, that's what I've gathered. Let's see how we go. Okay, you've gone Armada vehicles. What's your other guy doing? He's going Armada bots, which is a curious choice in my opinion. The map's very big, very wide open, and it does have the Ring of Water. But it's not wrong to start bots. There's lots of reclaim on this map. So starting bots and looking to scoop up that reclaim can be very advantageous. So it's not a bad choice per se. Yeah. Anyway, and you can see here immediately you're energy constrained, as we were saying. And you're pumping off into these things, but if you've got the opportunity, the tidal generators, yes, they technically have 250 energy, but if you had built them first, they would have been adding energy all the while. These guys, 155 metal for 20, is it? Yeah, 20 energy. These guys, 90 metal for 25 energy on this map. Yeah, not much more to say on that one. Alright, going for 2 vehicle constructors starts and a, whatever these guys are called. What are they called these days? Blitz. Not bad, yeah, I mean, you've got because it's such a large map, you've got a little bit of time, even when these guys rush, before you're going to see any units directly in your base. So going for a greedy start is an option on this map. I still think there's nothing wrong with putting out a blitz or two and going runabouts, but honestly, the scout is the No, you've got one. Haha. The scout is the preferred, I think, vehicle at this early stage for just seeing what's out there. I don't think you really need to send one blitz by his lonesome all the way down here. By the time they get there, your opponent should be ready. Should possibly even have seen him coming. And it's much harder to sort of micro blitzes depending on... You still don't know what your opponent has. So, on this map, my personal opinion is it's a bit early to be rushing with one singular blitz. So now that you've seen that he's not here and he's not here, well, you know by deduction that he must be around here. Oh, and there he is, and bang, bang, pop. Cool. Alright, that being said, there's nothing wrong with sort of holding one of these guys here in case he went in for a cheeky early expand, but, you know, yeah, you risk just losing him if he actually gets any resistance. I mean, yes, he can run away, and given that he's bots, harder bots particularly, don't have to worry too much about being relatively kited. All good. Don't listen to me. I'm borderline delusional. Alright, we know there's one person here. Lizzie's a pawn. I mean, you'll trade metal for metal. It's not a great... I mean, you'll, of course, win, because you've got the stronger and the more expensive unit, but pawns and these guys almost trade 1 for 1. Sorry, 1 for 2 in a stand-up fight. So you don't, by going in here sort of one-on-one, you don't really gain much by doing that. I'd tend to suggest you should maneuver and come back and fall into groups. And what this guy's doing here, streaming in 1 unit at a time with pawns, is not optimal, to put it mildly. Lets you get ganged up on. Okay, so you're running around. This guy's been left here. These guys are just going all around the place. Whoop, quick opportunity, yep. Gonna get that. Yep, constructor, cool. Run the hell out of there, because they're gonna outnumber you. Yep, cool. Again, I'm just gonna reiterate, I think you really need a scout or two, just to give you a bit more line of sight. I don't know whether these guys, you know, get away or you lose anything due to not having it. It's just, especially with vehicles, you can sometimes get into situations where you can't turn fast enough to get away and take advantage of that blitz mobility that you have with that just extra line of sight that you get. You can sometimes eke out just that little bit of advantage to accelerate and get the hell out of there. Now he's... Oh. And again, I feel like we really need some early radar or eyes or scouts or something. There's no intel on what's going on here. Yes, you can deduce that he's not expanding out here very much, but you don't know what's running around. Aha, cheeky. Oh well, that's a good trade. This guy's paid for himself. I really should have just sucked him in. Like, it would have been like half a second with that much health. Oh, no, there's no more others. Anyway, you're running around. I mean, that's good. Got these guys coming in here. Would take that out. Yep, they do. Run out there. I don't think it's hugely worth them diving. I mean, I think in this match your opponent is very suboptimal, to put it politely. Running in streams, doesn't care that much about formations, doesn't amass his troops, doesn't think too much about intel himself. He's gone Armada bots and he's not using like the best bot that Armada has, which is the tick. And on this map, again, especially when you've got a tick or something like that, all you have to do is slip a handful of them up the back here. Where are we here? Way up along here and get inside, and then you can just start playing silly buggers. Really start pissing people off if they haven't defended this, and you haven't. And if he had scouted and whatnot, he would probably know that. Instead, he's sort of going in a bit blind, not getting huge payoffs for losing all of these guys. One LLT, but didn't really trade very well there. But still, relative to your opponent, you're dominating. I'm a bit, I don't want to say disappointed, just an observation. There has been a real dearth of scouting in the top left-hand corner of the map, as far as I know. Yes, you've been holding him off here, but you haven't really been observing, as far as I know again, what's been going on here, so you don't know exactly how much pressure you're under here. And I mean, you're winning lots of these skirmishes in sort of metal for metal trade-offs. You lost that one, incidentally. So you know, it's not all bad. Now I'll see if here, which he shouldn't be. So yeah, you just needed to scout here and check whether you've got him contained. And if you've got him contained, well then you know this guy's in here. And as long as you could have sort of keep expanding, and you've defeated his metals, and he's not rezzing things, and he shouldn't be because he's lost most of his stuff in your territory, then you can deduce that you're hopefully going to be out producing him very, very soon. Yep, another just free kills. Yep, outnumbered, free kills again. Another free kill. Yep. Okay, spotted our first thugs. Thugs are an interesting choice on this map because it takes them a metric shitload of time to cross the map, and against these guys, as long as these guys have some support, they don't tend to trade very well in my experience. So depending on what's going on here, yep, so you're slipping something. I mean, yeah, again, just this is a scary sort of portion. Now, yeah, there's some guys up here, but luckily for you, this guy sort of chickened out and has started building up here rather than expanding, which is probably on him as a mistake. So what you see are all of these thugs here. Don't run into them one thingy at a time. Again, if you had some scouting, if you had some radars up on the fronts, either here or somewhere, I don't know. You're sneaking in the back here. You're not trading too well over here. You're popping off a pawn here and there, and I mean, there's not a huge amount to say. What a basis. I mean, Yeah, sorry, it's all, it's not a huge, high-quality opponent. Shouldn't have stopped there. Should have just kept charging in. Ignore these guys. Sneak up here, do everything you can. Posts. These guys take, like, years to kill down a moving stout. But he's just gonna hang there, be all like, kill me, hurt me, hurt me. Yeah, and so you do. So again, you sort of get away with it, basically. Again, we've got the thugs coming, but they're so slow that you really do have time. And another thing on this, and this is just a map-specific one, when you do hug the coast here, you've always got water to hide your commander in, so it's not really a huge threat, and you can run out there with some tanks pretty quickly, or even these guys if you wanted to. Now, incidentally, you transition to air, and these guys can sometimes be sort of, I don't want to say laughed at. People say they're a bit weak, but you've used them for pretty much exactly what you need to use them for, which is to say you should sort of run them around. I would have microed them a little bit stronger, keep them away from those guys, take out that. Don't bother sort of trying to take this place out one-on-one if you're not going to hang around and finish the job. Yeah, get up here, take out his mexes, take out his build power. Ignore the pawns. Maybe take out those guys. Get up there and take out some more mexes. And again, we probably need to micro to keep them a little bit away from those. I wouldn't have come back and fought. I would have left him be. But in all of this, so what do you know about him now? You know he probably doesn't have any decent air. Because he doesn't have decent air, you don't really need fighters, personally. I think that's a mistake. You have now both an air factory and a land factory, a tech one, whatever it is, a vehicle factory. Both of those are great options. So, one of your feedback questions or things that you said to sort of focus on was, all right, how do I close this out now? What do you know about this guy? I'm going to pretend that he hasn't been very sneaky, and I haven't been fully keeping track of where your eyes are all the time, but what you should have deduced by this time is that this guy's territory has basically been established or constrained to that, and you've wiped out mexes and power. Don't even think there's a mex or anything there. No mexes there, no mexes there. So, this guy's entire infrastructure is basically that, as far as we know. That's it. And you, for lack of a better diagram, have that. And you've been trading relatively well with your unit skirmishes. So whatever's going on at this time, you should expect, on a T1 level basis, that you have vastly outscaled this guy in terms of expansion and units. You've even got his Rex and things like that in your territory. So metal for you should not be a problem, and it's up to you how to end this game. Now, I said to you in Discord, when you're this far ahead of your opponent, you need to transition from how do I win this game to how do I absolutely cut down my chances of losing it to 0. And that means playing a bit more conservatively. So let's sort of take through the basic steps of strategy of what to do here. You have 2 factories. Arguably, when you're taking into T2, you can suck those down, reclaim them, get that metal and stuff out faster. Get that up. Get your sort of economy moving, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to assume that you know all of that already. But the fact that you have those 2, these are your 2 scout-producing factories, and that's the thing that you need at this point in time to ensure that you do not lose this game. Look, just so we're clear, 80%, 90% sure you're going to win anyway. But you want to just whittle away that last 10% chance that there's no Hail Mary plays. So, what you should have done at this stage, in my opinion, get a couple of scouts. I don't care if they're the flyers. I don't care if they're the land-based ones. First things first is confirm that your knowledge of this guy is absolutely correct and that you didn't win out here because he was, doing some sort of secret play back here. What are the secret plays that he can do? One of them is naval, amphibious units. Amphibious units on this map take ages to crawl around the back, but once they arrive, they can be a bit of a surprise. Naval, amphibious units, Tech 2 rush, trying to rush out Tech 2 metal extractors on these things and sort of building up. So while you've been expanding out, if you can get some early T2 metal extractors up, you can be in for a bit of a rude shock when they bust out of there with the equivalent of like 10 of the Tech 1 metal extraction things or whatever in total. I don't know, it's just a number I made up. But the point is, 2.5 times that by whatever it is over like 4 or 5 mexes. If you're still hanging around on T1 and he's done that, now because he went in and destroyed half of his stuff, presumably that he's not Tech 2ing, or he hasn't been Tech 2ing, and even if he is Tech 2ing at this stage, he's not gotten very far because he doesn't have very many resources. So the fact that you've already started suggests that even if he does that, you should be able to beat him. So what you really, really need to do, scouts all around here. Make sure you have I don't want to say a vision wall, but you need an intelligence wall. You need to confirm your suspicions that this guy has not expanded, isn't going to do anything tricky. Flying scouts, he's got some defenses here. Flying scouts in here, flying scouts down in here, around the back, flying scouts down here and around the back as well. What are you looking for? You are looking for any hints of amphibious units. You are looking for any hints of naval. You are looking for any hints of air. These are, at this stage, basically your only slim threat to losing this game. That's your first thing. Get your intel. Figure things out, because otherwise you're playing blind. You should be able to intuit that he's not doing well, but you don't know where he's got his things. Next step. This guy. Okay, he's very exposed. Whether you know it or not, I'm pretty sure. Have a look. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure the commander can pop out the back here. Pop out the back, down the water if he is threatened. So on the one hand, it's kind of good that you're setting up a little defensive barrier here. But basically, what we're looking for is a philosophy of protecting this commander. He's your one, it's a 1v1. Lose him, the game's over. Because you don't know what's going out. If this guy had it's low odds of happening. But if he just rushes you with like 20 pawns or something, or a bunch of ticks, and he times it right, gets in here before these things are built, you can be in real trouble. This was your game, and it's possible to lose it. I don't know why I'd do it, but if he was investing in some naval or something like that, had them coming around the back here, and he managed to time an attack here and your commander ran into the water, that could also be bad news too, because you don't know what he's got waiting there. All of these are very slim possibilities. And last but not least, it's, technically possible, I guess, that he could be doing for a T1 air command to snipe. You've already got your air thing, you haven't seen anything. All of these are absolute remote possibilities. But basically all you want to do is confirm that you know what's going on. Restrain him, keep expanding all your units out. You're just massing up metal. Pump out a quick T2 con, upgrade some of your base things as well, so that you know you can beat him no matter what. Confirm that nothing funny or silly buggers is going on here, and then amass your forces, hunt out his commander, and crush him. Alrighty. Now, yeah, if you're lost because you're lost. You're blind. Is I guess the thing. Yeah. Now you win this match, just for the record. But yeah, the real secret to all of this is intel, because it's intel and it's knowledge of the space that lets you make decisions. Yes, obviously intuition and things plays a part, but when you're this far forward, it's like there's nothing to risk. Just turn it into certainty. By clumping all of these guys up together, it's kind of irrelevant because you got these guys here, so maybe you know that and none of this matters. Look, I was going to say, by clumping these guys up together, you leave your wings a bit exposed, you open yourself up to a cloaked commander D-gun. Alright, I've got a few things. Oh, incidentally, I never said it, but that's not a bad position for a radar. That's not a bad position for a radar either. Yeah, those are silly units, at least at this context and this time. Like, whatever those are, let's pretend that they're thugs, I'm guessing, because they're just so slow and rambling. I mean, truth is they're not really a major threat to you. I mean, he's not going to get more than, like, one LLT here. Yeah, and he doesn't even get that. So he takes out a mix, whoop-de-doo. Yeah, thugs and these guys do not trade well. Yeah, you're not really in any here, but what you need is vision. You're doing good by still expanding. Just for the record. Just need to sacrifice a scout or two, fly a scout or two, see what's going on. Hell, even if you just sacrificed one of your fighters or some such, he's got nothing to do, so those fighters aren't really doing anything at the moment. And they're all hanging around your base. Your base, when your commander is down south, and he doesn't have air. So they're not really achieving anything. Even they could be used to try to scout out the battlefield a bit more. Alright, yeah, and it all ends with on this guy. So, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, see, they just don't trade well there. Yeah, and then boom, 3 things, 4, bang, he's dead. But, if we're talking absolutely strictly, where are we here? Absolutely strictly, a little bit dangerous to sort of move stout guys forward. Not really. I mean, I'm being pretty anal. He weren't really in any danger because he had so many Janisses there. Even if he uncloaked, which is exactly what he did, and went for some D-guns, he just died. So, don't listen to me. What were your other options for finishing this out? I mean, I know you said you felt lost, but honestly, there wasn't that much more to it. You'd expanded, you'd captured all the mechs, tech 2 up, keep expanding, get vision, and then just choose your way to kill him. Know what he's got. Just mass up your troops. Go hunting. Well, obviously he's dead now. But as far as I know, he did not have very much, like a couple of LLTs. And LLTs against a bunch of stouts and things are not going to do much. And LLTs against a bunch of bulls are really not going to do much. So, yeah. I think we talked about some of your options. T2 mass vehicles, T2 artillery, crawl across the thing and just whittle him down if you're really scared about losing units for some reason. You could play make a naval play, make an air play, do some bomber runs. Just get bored, tech up all of your stuff to T2 and go to T3. And then just walk a Titan in. Or a Razorback or two. You've really got nothing to lose. Put up a nuke and an anti-nuke on your own thing to make sure he doesn't. Again, you've got to know that he's not going to do any silly buggers like just sit there and build a nuke while you're too scared to move in. But you're moving in, so really, I don't think there's that much more to it. Anyway, yeah, intel, options, you'd already won. Should have scouted a little bit more, made some things. Yeah, that's it. Me out.